This is the Boston Celtics newsfeed on CLNS. Today is Friday, December 22nd, 2017. This is Nick Cherico reporting for CLNS, the leading online provider of audio and visual coverage for the Boston Celtics. The Celtics lost at Madison Square Garden last night to the New York Knicks 102-93. This was the team's second straight loss and their first stretch of back-to-back losses since the beginning of the regular season. The Celtics were without Jaylen Brown in this contest, who missed the game with an Achilles injury. According to Jared Weiss of the Celtics Wire, Brown's Achilles began to flare up during the Indiana game on Monday night. When speaking with reporters, he attributed the injury to the lack of rest the team has gotten. Last week, they played 5 games in 7 nights, and this has apparently began to catch up to Jaylen. As of right now, there is no word on whether or not the injury will affect his availability for any upcoming games. In general, the Celtics have started to show a few chinks in their armor over their most recent stretch of games, after what was a pretty hot start to the season. They are combined 5-5 in their last 10 games. In that time, they have had 3 back-to-backs and just 6 days of rest. The month of December has been their worst of the season thus far, having compiled a record of 7-5. In the previous 2 months, the team had lost just 4 games combined. The story of last night's loss versus the Knicks was a surprising one, that being 10-year veteran Michael Beasley going off for a season-high 32 points off the bench for New York. He has had a hot December, averaging 17.1 points per game, but his season totals don't add up to that, just averaging 11.1 points per game on the year. Following the game, media spoke to C's rookie Jason Tatum to ask him what he thought of Beasley's performance. Tatum said, quote, "I always knew Michael Beasley had game. When somebody like that gets going, it's tough. It's the NBA, and everyone can play, especially him." End quote. Celtics guard Kyrie Irving also spoke with the media after last night's loss, saying some pretty interesting things about his views on Christmas. When asked how special it will be to play on the holiday and what his plans were for his first Christmas in Boston, Kyrie said, quote, "The hoopla on Christmas, I don't really get into that. I don't necessarily think of Christmas as a holiday. I'm just happy that I get to be with my family." End quote. The team is getting some much needed rest today, but they will be back in action at home on Saturday night against the Chicago Bulls. Today's episode of the Celtics newsfeed is sponsored by DraftKings, the best place for you to win huge cash prizes every single night. With basketball season back in full swing, DraftKings is the place for one-day fantasy basketball. You can enter into their big money groups or play in beginner or casual contests with your friends. Head on over to DraftKings.com armed with a $5 deposit in our promo code CLNS and you can play for your share of $10,000 in total prizes. Don't wait. Use code CLNS at DraftKings.com now to choose your lineup. The Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame announced modifications to their enshrinement process this week. According to NBA.com, the process for a player or coach to be inducted into the Hall of Fame will now be sped up, allowing them to be eligible just 3 seasons after retirement. For high-impact players, this would make Steve Nash, Chauncey Billups, Jermaine O'Neal, and former Celtic Ray Allen eligible for the upcoming class. They also announced another reform, which specifically addresses coaches who are eligible to enter. A coach now must have 25 years of experience under their belt and must be at least 60 years of age before being eligible. As to why they decided to make these changes, President and CEO of the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, John DeLeva, said, quote, "By allowing players, coaches, and referees to become eligible after 3 seasons of retirement, the Hall of Fame will be able to celebrate the best in the game at an opportune time with the fans who have supported them throughout their careers on the hardwood." End quote. Alright, that's gonna be it for now, guys, so make sure to follow CLNS on Twitter at CLNS Media. And make sure to subscribe to the Celtics newsfeed both on iTunes and Stitcher, as well as the CLNS Media Network mobile podcast app. This has been Nick Cherico for Celtics newsfeed and the CLNS Media Network.